The community. Today we actually check out the question why I moved from ACC to LMU and what has been my reasons, what needs to be done to actually keep that running, how at the end of the day we can get a similar experience that I also had in the past with ACC. I was very happy. I actually had very great moments in Assetto Corsa Competizione, but I currently just drive Lima Ultimate due to several reasons that I will express within this video, and then I will also show you a little bit about how I need to set up everything so that it runs well, as well as I will maybe give a small conclusion at the end. First of all, this is actually the overview of the areas that are for me the most important because I primarily race online. I don't do like local races or AI races and all of that. I'm just interested in competitive racing against other casual sim racers, I would say, because I'm far away from being on elite level. For me, the most important in Lima Ultimate are the online championships, dailies, weeklies, and special events. Hosted races you require for league races. I also have joined a few leagues, and I also start on Monday with a new league for 8 races, which I am really hyped about. But for me, the most important area here are the online championships, because here you actually have also a real season. You have many races, you're getting points over races, and you can actually fight with people that are on the same level than you are. Sometimes with the official leagues, you at the end of the day run into the situation that people are so fast that you never be able to hit somehow a podium, right? And with my casual driving skills, I already have 5 podiums. I'm very proud of that. And this is something you can achieve in the online championships with the feeling of racing in a real league in real seasons. I personally say the money that you have to spend in addition for the online championships is really well spent, even if the amount of content is not as massive as we currently have in ACC, iRacing, or AMS2. The other thing is we do have tracks. You see here different tracks. They are not that much at the end of the day. We have all famous big tracks. They are way more famous and big tracks, right? But at the end of the day, it's a good mixture. I would also argue, well, Nordschleife is missing or etc. is missing, but you know, for me, as someone who's a casual racer, I nevertheless require for every race in my league 30 minutes training before we actually go into a qualifying. So even if I would have now 50 tracks, right? So I'm actually with my limited time just capable of learning that one track for that one event instead of jumping between tracks from A to B. For sure, you can do this for this daily races. I mean, that's, you know, for sure you can actually jump there around a little bit, but you would never be as fast as sticking on one car on one track and then drive it to perfection. And this is at the end of the day also my opinion is also that I'm absolutely fine with the content we have. We have different, you know, track layouts that also gives a little bit of dynamic into. And so far, I only working on master these and then waiting till the next content drop that is happening in June. The other thing is car variety. So we have here the 2024 seasonal setup of cars. We see hypercars, we see LMP2 and GT3. There is also GTE. I really much had enjoy absolutely driving GT3s. I've driven GT3s over years, I would say, in ACC primarily. I've driven nothing else, right? But being now able to drive things like LMP2 cars, that's what I would start with if I would recommend anything for someone who's coming from the GT3 world. This is actually a totally new dimension of speed. Then we come to hypercars, highly technical, a lot of accessories, a lot of things included and installed, and you need to take care of different tire strategies and all of that. But highly enjoyable cars, and it really is enjoyable as soon as you are mastering hypercars. I do have 40 races. I cannot drive a hypercar. I'm still way off pace because you need to learn and you need to drive them really way more often than running like a GT3. That's also maybe because I've only mastered GT3 in the past, and I guess that's the reason why I feel very comfortable with GT3s. But again, hypercars is, from my perspective, one of the big arguments and LP2s to try and run that sim, because it actually gives such a fresh momentum into this hobby, which at the end of the day I really enjoy. Further, I really enjoy that GT3s, LM GT3s, have more options now, which make the full racing far more intensive, and also it gives you far more situations where you're really happy to learn something new. Last but not least, if you're looking to the content, for sure we have here now multi-class races. Multi-class races, honestly, is something I never have expected that I really missed that when looking back into the ACC times. It is such an enjoyable situation if you running races of 2 hours and then you have this lappings that are happening with the hypercars. You are gaining time, you're losing time because of overlaps. This brings another dimension, and also it actually brings a lot of joy into the racing itself, because it's less predictable than just running down the road and doing lap by lap. What also something that is really great, I would say, is that we have a simulation here that directly offers as well rainy conditions, night conditions. So all of these things that also brings a lot of fire and dynamic into a race. We had so much races over the last few weeks where we had like dry rain, dry situations. At the end of the day, this is the dynamic you want to have in the race. And this is also what makes this exciting. Changing racing strategies, changing and reacting to situations that are appearing on the street, to at the end of the day get that small advantage that actually brings you forward and that moves you to podium. We have so many great tutorials meanwhile on the internet. You can check Alex Clay, I guess that was his name, and there is some guy that calls that's name is Ref. So there's certain great sources to learn that simulation. My biggest hurdle when I started with Lima Ultimate was finding out what the 3 traction controls are doing. What is the normal traction control? What is power cut? What is slip angle? And I actually have learned that you just have to try it out. I know there is Coach Day setups you can load from here. You can also get it from the Coach Dave app, and then you can actually get a fixed setup. But honestly, my driving style is different than yours, and it's also different to the guys that are making the setups. I am not competitive enough to, at the end of the day, benefit from that much. You need to set it up so it drives stable, and you can actually feel comfortable with how you are racing. That was primarily the first hard thing I have to learn. The second thing I have to learn is the relationship between virtual energy and fuel. And this is something I can tell you by heart. In the most of the cases, when you're starting up and use standard setups, you are very close to be perfect. You only have to assign and increase, reduce in a longer race the virtual energy to, at the end of the day, accommodate the amount of rounds you still have to drive. You don't have to that much tickle around with the fuel capacity. You will actually see, if I'm reducing this now by 6 points, you will see that at the end of the day, I am consuming uh, less fuel than virtual energy. I would have a mismatch between that, and then it's not an efficient setup because I have to pit more often than I should, right? And then pit stops cost time, and at the end of the day, time is getting us to podium or not. But this is, at the end of the day, this relationship just don't take care about fuel capacity. I only do for qualifyings and for practicing virtual energy to 100%, and then I reduce the fuel lower to have less weight for the qualifying. But when I'm starting the race and I know I have to pit, I just go to 100%. I make my tank full and then drive it like that. And in the race, I am using rather my driving coach, yeah, which is a program that is telling me what to do, or I just set it up in the MFD and then adapt the amount of rounds I still require by increasing or reducing virtual energy. Secondly, and that was also maybe a false assumption, I am not quite sure, but we do have maximum pedal force. You see in LMP2s, this value is very low, yeah, because they are very, very sensitive on the brake and you're spinning around like crazy if you don't do anything. You have your brake migration and your brake balance. Drive the car in practice and try to go closer to the limit. You are feeling if your back or the front is losing or gets loosey. With that, you can actually then play around with the balance. Braking migration, I would prefer for the beginning just disable. First of all, learn to brake. Braking migration gives you a few more, brings you closer to the limit because it actually scales the harder you're braking, the closer you're coming to the corner. It moves the balance up and front, up and front. But if you're not able to like have the right pressure on the brake, you're actually misusing the idea of what brake migration should do. I would disable it for the start and try to learn it by that. Maximum pedal force in hypercars, I would rather go to 100%. Just 100% learn to brake. It will feel, it still today feels not correct for me, but that's something you just have to learn because ACC is stepping on the brake, right? So I have learned to do proper trail braking far more in this few months that I'm now in Lima Ultimate compared to the years I did before in ACC. ACC was wonderful, but you cannot do mistakes on the brake in terms of that you're really locking the car or that you actually do really have something harmful to you. Here with the Hypercar LMP2, if I'm not braking careful, if I'm not being sensitive if the tires are cold, if I'm not being sensitive if I have a longer stint, I'm I'm dying, right? Because you directly crash into a wall, you're spinning around, you're frustrated, you want to quit the game, you go out. I have done this a few times. To be very honest, that was a very hard experience. That is what I would like to give you for the start because I struggled few hours understanding what all of that means because it was new, right? And now I'm a little bit smarter than before. I'm not fast, but I tried now to get fast also in this simulation to be competitive in the leagues that I'm racing with. Also, when it comes to car choice, I would suggest, and this is based on personal preference, but I would suggest try the Porsche, try the Ferrari, try the Alpine. Lamborghini is a nice car to drive. These are the hypercars I will try from the beginning. There are a few others. I'm not an expert, but I tried them out, and I can tell you I had a problem to race with them. Try first of all something like a Porsche Lamborghini. You will really enjoy it, and you will also see that it's not that difficult to run into. You see right now my tires are blue. We are on the first few meters. We have completely cold tires, which also means that I relatively fast lock up my tires. You see they are just warming up directly. Don't do that too much. You get flat tires. You will feel this in the steering wheel. It will shake like crazy if you do this and overdrive the car a little bit too much. I hope that you have been able to receive an impression from my perspective, a casual racer, a small streamer at the end of the day that is learning right now a new simulation. I am far away from being really competitive, but I really enjoy racing. It's fresh air. It's something that is for me really enjoyable to learn. I like to learn new things, and the feeling I have with League One Ultimate right now gives me exactly what I want to do. It is competitive. It is right now on my casual level competitive enough to at the end of the day motivate me to fight for podiums, and it's just an amazing experience right now. We have a new content drop in June. I guess I will make a short video about that, and just drop your follow. If you want to also follow my next league, which will be in Own It, starting on Monday for eight races. I will do some recaps and also some highlights from the races, and also over the course of the next few weeks, you will see more and more content around AI, coach, these kind of topics I want to tackle. So stay tuned, drop a follow, and then talk to you soon. Thanks.